that's why we brought as well this, which is the winner's trophy. It is the trophy that the winner of the FIFA World Cup wins. Only the FIFA president, presidents of countries, and then those who win can touch it.
If you don't get the FEMA grants in the next 30 days, the city of Miami is going to have to start canceling because you can't prepare for the security of those sites.
That is correct. We have to start making some really tough decisions, and it starts with our fan festival. Obviously, the matches up at the stadium, will take place, but, preparing for all of the impromptu events and, what.
We had a very important council meeting here today in Doha, where we discussed many points. First decision taken, the prize money for the FIFA World Cup 2026. A massive increase, 50% more for all the member associations, minimum of 9 million for the participation, plus 1.5 million preparation money, so 10.5 million for every member association participating in the World Cup, and the winner gets $50 million, an increase of 50% compared to the World Cup 2022 in Qatar. So everyone will be excited to win the World Cup, not for the prize money, for the trophy, but the prize money is a nice add-on. And this was a very important first decision.
Okay, I see what's going on here. Did you guys get that? Did you pick up on that? FIFA is getting desperate to lure the Africans and the Europeans to come to North America and not boycott the World Cup. But I'm telling you, this is not going to work. There's something that is shifting in the global mindset. I just want to make it clear, this is not a political video, okay? So what's happening right now is that FIFA is getting so desperate that they're having to increase the prize money so that they can incentivize these teams to come to North America and compete. But I'm telling you right now, this is not going to work. So if you guys are running campaigns, if you have any events that are around World Cup and you already got it all planned out, this will impact you. So you need to pay attention. Let me tell you what's happening right now. If you are in Europe, if you're in Africa, and you're in Asia, you will understand what I'm talking about right now, which is everybody else outside the United States, outside of North America, is very sensitive and pissed off about what's going on. There's so much that is going on that a lot of people disagree with. A lot of people are banned from coming to the United States of America, and they're big mad. They're pissed off. Africans especially are very, very sensitive. And let me tell you something about Africans right now in 2026. The Africans and the African diaspora has a huge influence on Europe. And this is through music and culture. African culture, black culture has a massive influence in Europe. So whatever the Africans decide to do, which they will boycott this event, the Europeans are going to follow. The thing with soccer you have to understand is that a lot of these players that are participating in the World Cup, most of them are actually team members. They're team members that compete in different teams in Europe. Some of the African players play for European leagues, and they have team members that are from Portugal, Spain. So if one of their team members gets banned from going to the United States, they're also going to boycott it to show solidarity to their team member. That solidarity is almost implied. And this is what will happen. And they don't have to say anything. If the Europeans decide to go to North America to compete in the World Cup and they don't show solidarity to their team members who are Africans, it's going to be a disaster for them. It's going to be a complete disaster because they also have African fans. A lot of these European players have a lot of hardcore African fans. And if they discover, these sensitive ass Africans discover that the European players are not showing solidarity for their African brothers, it's going to be chaos in the streets. If you guys are soccer fans or football fans, you understand everything that I'm talking about. But if you're not football fans, soccer fans, you won't understand what I'm talking about. Let me explain this maybe using a concept that you might understand. Let's use the example of the NBA or American football. NBA, let's use the NBA. Let's say out of the 5 NBA players, 3 of them are from, let's say, Mexico. And they're supposed to be playoffs. And the United States all of a sudden decides to ban all Mexican players from coming to to visit the United States. Do you think these two players that are left are going to want to play without their three Mexican team members? They won't. They'll probably boycott it the same way because they work as a team. This is exactly what's going to happen to FIFA. And this is why we're seeing FIFA getting desperate by offering more money. But what they don't realize is that these African players, it's not about the money for them. These players make more money playing in Europe than they do playing for FIFA. It's not a flex to say I got paid through FIFA. It's not a big deal to accept money from FIFA like that. Because a lot of these African players make millions in Europe. So they can afford to sit this one out. They're not desperate for this money. What I'm saying is that a lot of these Africans are going to be very offended. Africans are very, very sensitive people. And their sensitivities is going to translate into popular culture, the music, all the biggest influences when it comes to sports, music, and culture that impact the Europeans are going to also follow the same thing. They're going to follow the same sensitivity. It's not about the money. It's about the disrespect. And also we have South American players that have been banned from coming to the United States. So what do you think is going to happen? And South America has got one of the best players in the world. This is not going to end well. This is not going to end well, guys. This is a major disaster for FIFA. Soccer is such a big deal. Let me show you how much of a big deal soccer is, okay? If you guys are familiar with Rick Ross came to my village. Let me show you. No, that's not my uncle. It's not my uncle. This is Rick Ross's Instagram page. Okay, you can see. And no, this is not my auntie or my mom. Okay, it's a joke. It's a joke. But yeah, there you go. It says "Fit for a King," Zimbabwe. That's Rick Ross right there. And they treated him like a king. They pulled up over there at the airport, picked him up in a bunch of Bentleys and Rolls Royces. He gets mad love over there in the village here in Africa. The person that sponsored this trip, of course, Rick Ross is not going to do anything for free. So they had to pay him for this appearance. So the person that paid for this owns a soccer team. And one of the first things that he did was took him to a soccer game. That's Rick Ross right there at one of the stadiums in my village. That's him right there. So the owner of the soccer team took him to one of the big games to watch soccer because he owns the team. Soccer and football is almost a religion over here in Africa and South America and parts of Europe. Actually, most of Europe, people love soccer. Such a huge deal that this had to be one of the places that Rick Ross had to go to. So again, this is not about the money. This is where FIFA has it all wrong. So by FIFA offering more prize money, it's not going to do a damn thing. The Africans have already been disrespected. The South Americans have already been disrespected, and they're also very sensitive to that. So this boycott is happening whether FIFA likes it or not. It's happening. The world has changed. The game has changed. The game has completely flipped 180 right now. It's a cold game.
It's money for the trophy, but the prize money is a nice add-on. And this was very important first decision.
Oh, we revoked her visa. It's an F1 visa, I believe. We revoked it, and here's why. And I'll say it again. I said it everywhere. Let me be abundantly clear, okay? If you go apply for a visa right now, anywhere in the world, let me just send this message out. If you apply for a visa to enter the United States and be a student, and you tell us that the reason why you're coming to the United States is not just because you want to write op-eds, but because you want to participate in movements that are involved in doing things like vandalizing universities, harassing students, taking over buildings, creating a ruckus, we're not going to give you a visa. If you lie to us and get a visa and then enter the United States and with that visa participate in that sort of activity, we're going to take away your visa.
I think Marco Rubio is completely out of touch with reality. I'm going to keep it real. It's not a flex to say, I want to go to the United States anymore. There's so many options out there in the world. So many other places to go. In fact, quite frankly, a lot of Europeans, Africans, South Americans find this very offensive. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. It's not a flex, Marco. It used to be a flex 20 years ago, but it's more of a flex to say I want to go to China and hang out because there's mad love over there in China. If anything, a lot of these Americans are trying to leave the United States. Why the hell would somebody with money want to go to the United States and get harassed? Just think about this. If you can afford to go anywhere in the world where you'll be treated like a king, like Rick Ross over here, getting treated like a king in my village, right here. Right. Fit for a king. Why the hell would you want to go somewhere where you're not treated like a king? Does it even make any sense? It doesn't. So let me tell you the trend that I'm predicting for 2026 World Cup. For some of you guys that have campaigns that are already planned out, you need a new strategy. You need me to come up with a new strategy for you that will work in 2026, given the new conditions, given these silly conditions right here, where travel is now restricted. They're not going to change the rules just because it's World Cup. They don't care. It's very evident that this new administration does not care about what anybody thinks. And there's nothing we can do about that. And we're not going to change it. But what we're going to do is we're going to make adjustments so we don't lose money. We don't hemorrhage cash. There are a lot of you guys that planned these campaigns already. Maybe you planned them last year. You're like, okay, 2026 is the World Cup. Or maybe you're still in the planning phase like me. I'm currently in the planning phase of my all my campaigns for 2026. There's a lot of volatility in the market. The United States is already in a new conflict. That's going to impact trade. That's going to impact supply chains. So how do you make adjustments to campaigns based on this new information? That's why you need the king. I'll put a link in the description of this video. Schedule some time. If you are planning for the World Cup currently, even though this event is not as big as the Super Bowl in terms of money, it is the biggest event globally, and that matters. Because where attention shifts is where the money is going to go eventually. It's only a matter of time. Maybe somebody in Brazil right now is planning FIFA World Cup watch parties. A watch party is basically where you have a group of like-minded individuals in a safe environment. They just throw a party, have a DJ, and just watch the Soccer World Cup from a screen instead of being there in person. Because nobody wants them in America, clearly. So they're just going to be like, okay, like this right here. A bunch of Africans are going to watch soccer like this. Did I mention Europeans are going to do the same thing? This is going to become a trend. So if you have a brand that you're trying to promote, how do you come up with a strategy that takes advantage of this new trend that I'm predicting is going to happen? If people are not able to travel, there's only one logical thing they're going to do. They're going to come into smaller groups and watch the event together on TV, on big screen. You need a strategy on how to do this, a winning strategy. I'll put a link in the description of this video. Schedule some time. This will be a paid consultation. When you pay, this is how I know you're serious, or else I can't take you seriously, okay? Come work with the king. Link in the description. Let's go.